Hello, and welcome to the Play Properly channel again. This is Larry, going through another legendary expansion. This one is the X-Men. So let's take a look and see what we've got here for different rules. We got X-Gene. This keyword represents X-Men combining unique mutant powers with your signature teamwork. So basically, some heroes say things like X-Gene range, you get +2. This means if you have a range card in your discard pile, you get +2 fighting. You can use the card's X-Gene ability only if you have the specified card in your discard pile. Okay, then we got Piercing Energy. So basically here, you got the keyword represent X-Men using psychic knives and sonic screams to pierce enemy defenses. So this gives you kind of a different kind of points. So it's piercing energy using a different icon. You can either fight a villain or mastermind by spending this amount of points equal to the enemy's printed victory points value. So that's got a different value that you use against it. So that's kind of a different way to fight. What else we also got? We also got Berserk. Keywords are some X-Men going into Berserker rage and unpredictable violence. So again, mostly Wolverine. Berserk means discard the top card of your deck. You get +1 fighting equal to the discarded card's printed fighting thing. So the discarded card gives you +2x. You just count 2. Some cards say Berserk, Berserk, Berserk. So you discard 3 cards in a row. Some cards say things like Berserk, X-Gene, Tech. You get +1 fighting. You do the card abilities in order. So Berserk might discard a Tech card from your deck, letting you use your X-Gene ability. We also got Soaring Flight. So basically, this ability represents X-Men flying into action as rapid enforcements. Soaring Flight means that when you recruit this hero, set it aside at the end of this turn, add it to your new hand as an extra card. So another way to get your buying into your hand ahead of time. We also got Light Show. So this keyword represents X-Men using fireworks and blinding bursts of spectral combinations. So you'd be looking at probably like Jubilee and Dazzler. Some heroes say things like Light Show, you get +3 fighting. So basically, Light Show, once per turn, if you played at least 2 Light Show cards this turn, you may use a single Light Show ability from any of those cards. So if you play 3, 4, or more Light Show cards, you still can only use one single Light Show ability. So it just kind of gives you some options there. Then we got Dominate. As keyword says villains using telepathy, sorcery, illusions, to twist heroes' minds to evil. Some villains masterminds say they dominate hero cards from various places. This means put those heroes under this enemy. This enemy gets +1 fighting for each hero it's dominating. When you fight that enemy, put one of those dominated heroes into each player's discard pile. You choose which player gets which hero, including yourself. There might not be enough for every player to get one. KO any excess dominated heroes. Villain escapes and a hero dominated by the villain goes to the escape pile too. We also got Human Shields. So with the Human Shields, there's a lot of rules in this one. So Human Shields, keyword says enemies hiding behind innocent people to prevent heroes' attacks. So like an ambush, the villain captures 2 Human Shields, means the villain captures the top 2 cards of the bystander stack face down. You can't fight a villain while it has any Human Shields. During turn, any number of times, you can pay fighting equal to the villain's fighting value to rescue one of the Human Shields at random and put it into your victory pile. On this thing as a reminder, a villain can have face-up bystanders and face-down Human Shields on the same time. And you need to pay to rescue the face-down Human Shields. Then you can fight the villain, which will rescue the face-up bystanders automatically. You also got traps. So basically, every villain group it contains at least 1 trap. You got double-sided epic masterminds. You got horrors, which is a totally new thing. Legendary X-Men also adds a second complete new type card to Legendary Horrors. These make the game harder in a variety of ways. All the epic masterminds simply say they add horrors to the game. Players who want to play in hard mode can also choose to add any number of Horos, random or handpicked, to the start of the game against any mastermind. How many can you beat at once? Heroic Bystanders. The new mutants are Professor X's students, dream of becoming full-fledged X-Men. From the legendary X-Men sent to some new mutant bystanders who become heroes when you rescue them. And we got token cards. Sometimes gameplay will cause additional villain masterminds to be added during the play. For example, Master Strike may cause a special villain to enter city. Token cards represent these special characters that would otherwise be represented by the card that drew them out. Tokens are all identified by the token thing in the upper right of the card. These new cards are optional, so have fun with them. I'm, of course, going to use the token cards because they're a lot easier. Divided cards, again, match Legion split personalities. Divided cards return from Legendary Civil War set. I always like those. Villains ascending into masterminds. So like Legendary Secret Wars Volume 1 and 2, some powerful villains ascend and become new masterminds. So there are multiple masterminds in the game. The player is supposed to defeat them all to win. When a Master Strike occurs, each mastermind does his Master Strike ability. The player's turn it is picks the order. Alright. So there's some of the new rules and for the Legendary X-Men, and we will be doing some of the card reviews as I experiment with my lighting. Okay, let's go through some of the other stuff we get in this set. So you get a spare Scheme Twist, spare Master Strike. Always good to have spares in case you lose some. Well, let's go through the schemes. We've got Alien Brood Encounter. Set up 8 twists, add 10 Brood as extra henchmen, no bystanders in villain deck. Special rules, cards are played from the villain deck face down. You may spend 1 fighting to scan a face-down card in the city, turning it face-up and doing any ambush effect, twist, trap, or master strike. If a face-down card would escape, scan it, and then escapes if it's a villain. The twist. The player on your right gains this twist as a Brood Infection. When drawn, they KO it and gain 2 wounds. So that's going to be an interesting scheme there. So if you play, of course, you play the solo, you don't have anybody on your right, so that would go into your thing as an infection, and then you KO it and gain 2 wounds. Yeah, when 3 villains per player have escaped is when evil wins. Anti-Mutant and Hatred. 11 twists, 30 wounds. Put this twist into your discard pile as an angry mob. Special rules at the start of your turn. For each angry mob in your hand, the player on your right gains a wound and gains that angry mob. Evil wins when the wound stack or villain deck runs out. So there's going to be lots of wounds going in there. Televised Death Traps of Mojo World. Set up 11 twists, 6 wounds per player in wound stack. Twist, stack this twist next to the scheme as a death trap. This turn you may pay 1 fighting for each death trap stacked there. If you don't, each player gains a wound. Evil wins when the wound stack or villain deck runs out. Horror of Horrors. Set up 6 twists. Twist 1 to 5, play a random horror card. Twist 6, evil wins. Mutant Hunting Super Sentinels. Set up 9 twists, include 10 Sentinels as extra henchmen, or something to another henchman group. Twist, stack this twist next to the scheme as a Sentinel upgrade. Shuffle all Sentinels from players' victory piles into the villain deck. Play another card in the villain deck. Special rules, all Sentinels get +1 fighting for each Sentinel upgrade next to the scheme. Evil wins when 3 Sentinels have escaped. Nuclear Armageddon. Scheme is 5 twists. Twist, destroy the city space closest to the mastermind. Any villain there escapes. Put this twist there. Evil wins when the city is destroyed. The Dark Phoenix Saga. Set up 10 twists. Include Hellfire Club as one of the villain groups. Add 14 Jean Grey hero cards to the villain deck. Special rules, Jean Grey cards in the villain deck are villains with attack equal to their cost. Ambush, play another villain card, and fight, gain this as a hero. Twist, shuffle all Jean Grey cards from the KO pile and from all players' hands and discard piles into the villain deck. Evil wins when 5 Jean Grey cards have escaped. X-Men Danger Room goes berserk. Setup is 8 twists. Twist is a trap. Oh, so every single time a twist is a trap. That's interesting. By the end of the turn, you may pay 2 2 buying power. If you do, shuffle this twist back into the villain deck, then play a card from the villain deck, or stack this twist next to Scheme as an airborne neurotoxin. Evil wins when there are 5 airborne neurotoxins. And that is all the schemes and all that there. Let's go to the masterminds then. So what do we got first? We got Arcade. Start of the game, Arcade captures 5 human shields. So be one of the people that uses the human shields. Always leads Murder World. Master Strike, Arcade captures a random bystander from each player's victory pile as a human shield. Each player who didn't have a bystander gains a wound instead. He's also got an epic mastermind side. Start a game, Arcade captures 8 human shields. Play a random horror card, just 2 to start. Again, always leads Murder World. Master Strike, Arcade captures 2 random bystanders from each player's victory power as human shields. Each player who didn't have 2 bystanders gains a wound instead. So it's a lot harder. His tactics. Fight, Arcade captures 2 human shields. Play an extra card from the villain deck next turn. Fight, Arcade captures human shields equal to the number of villains in the city. Fight, Arcade captures a random bystander as a human shield from each of these places. The bystander stack, the escape pile, each city space, and each other player's victory pile. Fight, Arcade and each Murder World villain in the city captures 2 human shields. Then we got Dark Phoenix. Always leads Hellfire Club. Master Strike, KO the top card of the hero deck and each card in the hero deck that shares a color with it. Wow. That could be nasty if you get a bad combo there. Dark Phoenix wins when the hero deck is empty. We also got an epic mastermind side. With the Master Strike, KO the top card of the hero deck and each card in the hero deck that shares a color with it. Shuffle the hero deck, then each player plays a Hellfire card from their victory pile. Next, play a random horror. So that adds more horrors there. Dark Phoenix wins and the hero deck is empty. We'll get into the horror cards later, of course. Burn the world to ashes. Fight, each other player discards each card from their hand that has the same name as any card in the KO pile. Each other player chooses a card from the discard pile that costs 1 or more and KOs it. Yeah. Fight, gain a hero from the KO pile that costs 7 or more. That's actually a nice one. Each other player gains 2 0-cost cards from the KO pile. So that is Dark Phoenix. Then we got Deathbird. Deathbird gets +1 fighting for each Cheshire villain in the city and escape pile. Sorry for my pronunciation. Always leads Cheshire Imperial Guard and Cheshire Henchman group. I'm going to struggle on this one. Master Strike, there are already any Shire villains in the city. Each player gains a wound. Then the strike enters the city as a Cheshire battle cruiser villain with 7 worth 5. So this is where you get some of the tokens. Fight, rescue 4 bystanders. This tactic enters the city as a villain whose only ability is escape. Shuffle this card back into Deathbird's Mastermind Tactics as another tactic. Ouch. So you have to beat that one again. That's nasty. So there's the token cards. So there's the battle cruiser with the 7 attack. We had a fight, rescue 4 bystanders. This tactic enters the city as a villain whose only ability is escape. Each player discards 2 cards. Fight, rescue 4 bystanders. This tactic enters the city as a villain whose only ability is escape. Each player gains a wound. So a lot of things about Deathbird is she keeps coming back as a villain. Fight, rescue 4 bystanders. This tactic enters the city as a villain whose only ability is escape. This card becomes a scheme twist that takes effect immediately. Mojo Mastermind. Start a game. Mojo captures 3 human shields. All bystanders' victory piles are worth 3. Always leads the Mojo verse. Master Strike. Mojo captures a human shield. Each player reveals a tech hero or discards a card at random. Fight. Each other player reveals a tech hero or chooses a random bystander from the victory pile. Mojo captures those bystanders as human shields. Brain Melted TV Marathon Masterminding Tactic. Fight each other player without a Mojo tactic in the victory pile gains a wound. Cross-dimensional marketing. Fight, you get +1 buying power for each bystander in your victory pile. Mojo captures a human shield. Fight, draw a card for each Mojo-verse villain in your victory pile. Mojo captures a human shield. And that's Mojo. Onslaught. I remember him from the comics when I collected. Each player's hand size is 1 less. Ooh. Oh, that's kind of nasty to start. Always leads Dark Descendants. Master Strike, KO all heroes dominated by Onslaught. Then each player reveals their hand and chooses one of their non-gray heroes. Onslaught dominates those heroes. Not sure if I like that. Epic side. Each player's hand size is 1 less. Master Strike, KO all heroes dominated by Onslaught. Then each player reveals their hand and chooses 2 of their non-gray heroes. Onslaught dominates those heroes and then play a random horror. So again, you get more horrors. Actually, I think I forgot to, just before I go on, I think I forgot the epic side of Deathbird here. Which is Deathbird gets +2 for each Shishara villain in the city in escape pile. If there are already Shishara villains in the city, play random horror, then the strike enters the city as a Shishara battleship villain with 9 and worth 6. So, just kind of wanted to say that I kind of missed that. And also, I think something I almost missed is on this thing, the 9 is on the other side. So there's the 9 battleship. So this token card can be either or. Sorry about that, I just kind of missed that. Going a little bit too fast here, trying to keep these videos as short as possible. Sometimes I might try to go a little bit too short. So we're back to Onslaught here. So again, I did cover the epic side here where he gets to play random horror. Sins of X-Men Pass. Fight each other player reveals the top 6 cards of their deck. It chooses an X-hero revealed this way. Onslaught dominates those heroes. Put the rest back in random order. Fight. Onslaught dominates 4 0-cost heroes from the KO pile. And then the next time a player fights Onslaught, KO those 0-cost heroes. Fight. Onslaught dominates all 5 heroes from the HQ. Fight. Reveal the top 3 cards of the hero deck. Onslaught dominates all the X heroes and Magneto heroes you revealed. Put the rest back in random order. And that is Onslaught. Shadow King Mastermind. Always leads Shadow X. Master Strike, KO all heroes dominated by Shadow King. Then each player chooses a non-gray hero from the discard pile. Shadow King dominates those heroes. And then we got an epic Shadow King. Start a game, play 2 random horrors. Always lead Shadow X. KO all heroes dominated by Shadow King. Then each player chooses 2 non-gray heroes from the discard pile. Shadow King dominates those heroes. Fiend of the Astral Plane. Fight. Each other player reveals their hand and shuffles 2 cards with buying icons from their hand back into their deck. Poison their minds. Fight. Each other player reveals their hand and chooses one of their non-gray heroes. Shadow King dominates those heroes. Psychic Seduction. Fight. Shadow King dominates each hero that costs 5 or less from the HQ. Telepathic Betrayal. Fight. This betrayal of Shadow Trap is in a victory pile or the KO pile. Put it on top of the villain deck. And that's all the masterminds. So then we'll go and look at all the villain groups. Oh, I gotta get over the bug sometime. So this is the Dark Descendants. So this is the ones controlled by Onslaught. Havoc, Brainwashed, Fight, gain this as a hero. It's a 2+. Escape, Havoc becomes a hero dominated by the Mastermind. XG range, you get +2. A couple of those. Nemesis. Ambush, each player reveals their hand and chooses one of their non-gray heroes. Nemesis dominates those heroes. Fatale. Fight, KO one of your heroes. Escape, Mastermind dominates the top card of the hero deck. Oh, I remember Random. Dark Descendants, Random. Ambush, Random dominates the top card of the hero deck. Then each player reveals their hand and chooses one of their heroes with that same cost. Random dominates those heroes. Sometimes, I feel like going back reading some of my old comics just to remember some of these guys. Like, I recognize Random. I remember I liked them. Psychic Subjugation. By the end of the turn, this is actually a trap. So by the end of the turn, recruit the leftmost and rightmost heroes in the HQ, or suffer each of those heroes you didn't recruit enters the city as a villain with fighting equal to that hero's cost. When you fight one, you gain it. Alright, so that ends the Dark Descendants. So now we've got the Hellfire Clubs. This is the one that's led by the Dark Phoenix. So you got Mastermind, Jason Wingard, the Hellfire Club. Black King, if I remember right. Ambush, this villain ascends to become a new Mastermind. So he gains the ability, Master Strike, each player simultaneously reveals a non-gray hero. Mastermind dominates revealed hero to highest cost, and tied for the highest too. So he basically ascends. Harry Leland, Black Bishop. Ambush, here costs 1 more to recruit this turn. Escape is the same effect. There's a couple of him in there. Emma Frost, the White Queen. Ambush, each player chooses an X hero from the discard pile. Emma Frost dominates those heroes. Sebastian Shaw, the Black King. Oh yeah, so I was wrong with Jason Wingard. This is the Black King. Sebastian Shaw is +1 fighting for each card you've played from your hand this turn. Escape, each player gains a wound. Couple of Sebastian Shaw in there. And we got a trap. Corrupt the Phoenix Force. But in a turn, if you have no Hellfire villains in the city or suffer, this trap becomes a 6 fighting Phoenix Force villain that enters the city and dominates all the heroes in HQ that cost 6 or less. So there's a couple of these. Oh no, that's just one trap. And then that's the token card. So this is the token card that will come in. The Ambush, Phoenix Force dominates all the heroes in HQ that cost 6 or less. So that will be the token card that comes in. Now, do remember the tokens don't shuffle into the deck, so you got to make sure you pull them back, just like the same thing with some of the cards in the was it the Hulk World War II expansion? There's some cards in there, the transforming cards that you don't shuffle in. As again, as this game becomes a little bit more complicated as time goes on. But still, it adds a lot more variety to it, too. So, it's a good side and downside to everything. So, now we got the Mojoverse. So, this would be what Mojo, of course, leads. We got, of course, Spyro. Ambush, each player reveals a covert hero, discards their hand. Each player discarded their hand this way draws 5 cards. And Escape is same effect. Major Domo. Ambush, Major Domo captures a human shield. Escape, each player simultaneously reveals a card from their hand. Who reveals the highest costed card or tried for the highest gains a wound. A couple of him in there. Oh, the Werewolves, I remember them. Ambush, these Werewolves capture a human shield. Fight, KO one of your heroes. Minor Domo. Ambush. Minor Domo captures 2 human shields. Escape. Each player simultaneously reveals a card from their hand. Whoever revealed the lowest cost card or tied for the lowest gains a wound. Trap. Mind warping TV broadcast. Ambush. A villain captures a bystander. By the end of the turn, have no bystanders in the city captured by villains. Or suffer after you draw your new hand. At the end of the turn, each player discards down to 4 cards. So that finishes off the Mojoverse. So now we're into Murder World, which would be Arcade, is what Arcade leads. So you got Miss Lock, of course. Ambush. Miss Lock captures 2 human shields, then reveal the top card of the villain deck. If it's a trap or Master Strike, play it. So a couple of Miss Locks in there. Traps. There's probably going to be lots of traps in this Murder World, I'm believing. Sulfuric Acid Water Slide. Ambush. Play another card for the villain deck. By the end of the turn, have no villains in the sewers, or suffer each player gains a wound. Guillotine Roller Coaster. By the end of the turn, have at least 4 different costs of heroes in the HQ, or suffer after you draw your new hand at the end of the turn. Each player reveals their hand and discards each card with the same cost as the cards in the HQ. One of those. Monstrous Pinball Machine. By the end of the turn, play any amount of buying power, then you must reveal the top card of the hero deck. If you've paid enough, recruit that hero and put this trap in your victory pile. Or suffer, KO that hero, play 2 extra cards from the villain deck next turn. Then we've also got Animatronic Killer Clowns Trap. By the end of the turn, recruit 2 heroes, or you suffer this trap, enters the city as a 3 fighting animatronics killer clown token villain that captures a human shield. So there's a couple of those traps, and then there's a couple of the tokens. So again, this is the tokens here. Actually, I just noticed something. The card, they come in as a 3, but on the card itself, it comes in as a 4, which is very interesting. So there's actually a misprint there somewhere. I'm going to go with the misprint is actually going to be on this card, because I think that one's more obvious as a 4. Plus, it makes the game harder. Anything that's harder should go with it. Alright, so that's Murder World done. So now we got the Shadow X. So this will be Shadow King's villain group he controls. So we got Dark Cyclops. Ambush. Each player reveals a ranged hero or discards a card. Fight. Gain this as a hero. X Gene Range. Return a ranged hero from your discard pile into your hands. We got Dark Beast. 2 fighting. Fight. Gain this as a hero. X Gene attack. You may KO a card from your hand or discard pile. Dark Iceman. Fight. Gain this as a hero. X Gene Strength. Draw a card. A couple of Dark Iceman. Dark Marvel Girl. Ambush. Dark Marvel Girl dominates each X hero that costs 4 or less from the HQ. Fight. Gain this as a hero. X Gene Range. Rescue a bystander. Dark Angel Villain. Fight. Gain this as a hero. X Gene Convert. The next hero you recruit this turn has a Soaring Flight. And Trap. Betrayal of the Shadow. By end of turn, you may pay 6 buying power. If you don't, each player reveals their hand. Then each player chooses a Shadow X card from their hand and discard pile to enter the city as a villain. And that's a trap. So that finishes off that one there. That's the Shadow X. So now we got the Shishar Imperial Guard. Or however you pronounce it. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. I more read the comics than I actually watched the TV series. The TV series may probably have a better pronunciation than I would. So this would be Deathbird's group she leads. So we got Gladiator, of course. Ambush. Each player discards a X hero or gains a wound. Escape, same effect. Blackthorn. Fight. If you fought Blackthorn in the sewers or streets, each other player gains a wound. Escape. Each player gains a wound. A couple of Blackthorn. You got Smasher. Ambush. Each player reveals a strength hero or discards a card. Fight. KO a card from your discard pile. Oracle. Ambush, each player discards the top 4 cards of their deck. It chooses one of those cards that costs 1 to 4. Oracle dominates those heroes. Shi'ar, Trial by Combat. Trap. Ambush, if the bridge is empty, reveal the top card of the villain deck. If it's a villain, put it on the bridge. By the end of the turn, have no villains on the bridge or suffer. After you draw, so the suffering is after you draw your new hand at the end of the turn. Each player KOs a non-gray hero from their discard pile. Alright, then we got a villain group that's not attached to any of the masterminds. We got Sisterhood of Mutants, Lady Mastermind. Ambush, this villain ascends to become a new mastermind. She gains the ability Master Strike. Each player simultaneously reveals a non-gray hero. Lady Mastermind dominates revealed hero with the lowest cost and any tied for the lowest. So she basically ascends. Lady Deathstrike, fight KO one of your heroes. Escape, each player reveals a sensed hero or gains a wound. Then we got Selene. Ambush, Selene dominates all the 0-cost heroes from the KO pile. Fight KO the heroes dominated by Selene. Escape, put the hero dominated by Selene into each other player's discard pile. Typhoon Mary. Ambush, each player reveals their hand and chooses a 3-cost hero from it. Typhoon Mary dominates those heroes. And then you got a trap. Resurrect Mandolin Prior. Basically, by end of turn, you may pay 3 buying power. If you do, shuffle this trap back into the villain deck and then play a card from the villain deck. Or you suffer, this trap becomes a scheme twist that takes effect immediately. Alright, so that ends the villains. So the next thing we'll look at is the henchmen. Alright. So now we've got, let me move it up a little bit here for the camera. So the first, I always love having more henchmen groups. That's one thing I thought was lacking in the very start of this game, but now there's quite a few henchmen now. Got the Hellfire Cult. Fight, reveal the top card of your deck. If it costs 0, KO it. Otherwise, you get +1 buying. So of course, you get 10 of each of these things here. Sapien League. Henchman Villain. Fight, KO one of your heroes, then reveal the top card of the villain deck. If it's the Henchman Villain, you get to play it. These are Death Commandos, Henchman Villain. Ambush, this villain captures a human shield. Fight, KO one of your heroes. Then we also got the Shi'ar Patrol Craft. Fight, the next hero you recruit this turn has Soaring Flight. Alright, we got the Brood. I remember some X-Men Brood issues. This villain gets +1 fighting for each bystander in the KO pile. Fight, KO one of your heroes, then KO a bystander from the bystander stack. Interesting. So this one always gets more powerful. Every time you defeat one, you have to defeat a bystander too. So that's from the bystander stack too. So it's not as if you haven't captured one or rescued one, it's not going to help you. It comes right from the bystander stack. And that's the last of the henchmen. And yeah, so we'll come back and we'll look at some of the other cards in the deck. Alright, so in this part we're going to look at the bystanders included in this expansion. So we got Cypher from the new units. And you rescue this bystander, gain it as a hero. And then look at the top 2 cards of your deck, draw one and discard the other. So you don't get that right away. That's when you get it in your deck, but you get it as a hero afterwards. Heartless Computer Scientist, 2 buying power. When you rescue this bystander, gain it as a hero. If you play a tech before you play this card, you may KO a card from your hand or discard pile. Then you got Karma. When you rescue this bystander, gain as a hero. It's got a 0+. Reveal the top card of your hero deck. You get plus fighting equal to its printed fighting cost. Then we got Magic. When you rescue this bystander, gain as a hero. It's basically 2 attack, and you get Teleport, which means instead of playing this card, you may set it aside at the end of this turn and add it to your new hand as an extra card. So you basically teleport it to the future. Then you got Magma. When you rescue this bystander, gain as a hero. That gets 0+. Choose one, draw a card, or you get +2. So that's kind of an option one. Martial Artist Master. Bystander. When you rescue this bystander, gain as a hero. It's 1 fighting, and you get to draw a card. Let's get Mirage. Bystander. When you rescue this bystander, gain as a hero. 1 buying power. Draw a card. Sunspot. When you rescue this bystander, gain as a hero. That's a 2+. If you play Strength first, you get an extra +1 fighting. And you also got Warlock. And we rescue this bystander, gain as a hero. It's 2 fighting, and then if you play tech first, you get to draw a card. And then we got Wolfsbane. When you rescue this bystander, gain as a hero. 0+, and it's Berserk, Berserk, Berserk. So after this, we'll take a look at the hero. Sorry, not the hero. Horror cards. Difference between hero and horror. So basically, we've got Army of Evil. So with this horror out, each non-henchman villain gets +1. Empire of Oppression, horror. Each player's hand size is 1 less. This applies when they draw a new hand. So imagine you having that with Onslaught where you're already 1 hand less. That's playing 2 cards less. Endless Hatred. Whenever you complete a scheme twist, also play the Mastermind's Master Strike ability. That's pretty brutal. Enraged Mastermind. This Mastermind has +2 fighting, so it makes it harder. Fight to the end. After you defeat the Mastermind's 4 tactics, you must still fight the Mastermind a 5th time to put the Mastermind card in your victory pile and win. So it means that you have to beat him up 1 extra time. Growing Threat. Mastermind has +1 fighting for each Mastermind tactic among all players' victory piles. So it just gets, the more you defeat them, the harder you get. Legions upon Legions. Whenever you play a henchman villain from the villain deck, play another card from the villain deck. Maniacal Mastermind. The Mastermind has +1 fighting. Misery upon Misery. Whenever you play a bystander from the villain deck, play another card from the villain deck. Opening Salvo. Ambush. Each player gains a wound. Pain upon Pain. Whenever you complete a Master Strike, play another card from the villain deck. Plots upon Plots. Whenever you complete a Scheme Twist, play another card from the villain deck. Psychotic Infection. Ambush. Put this into your discard pile. If this is in your hand at the start of your turn, the player on your left gains this card, then each player discards a card. Shadow of the Disciple. This horror ascends to become a new 9 fighting master plan mastermind worth 5. It gains ability Master Strike. Each player reveals a tech hero gains a wound. So this is where you get the token card from the mastermind. Now we go up and be another extra mastermind, of course. Surprise Assault. Ambush. Play 2 cards from the villain deck. The Apprentice rises, ambush, and a random new mastermind to the game with 1 tactic. The Blood thickens, ambush, shuffle an additional Master Strike into the villain deck, then play another card from the villain deck. The Plot thickens, ambush, shuffle an additional Scheme Twist into the villain deck. Tyrant Mastermind. The Mastermind has +3 fighting. You get 3 different levels there. Ambush, Viral Infection. Put this into your discard pile. This is in your hand at the start of your turn. The player on your left gains this card, and the player on your right gains a wound. So that is all the bystanders in the horrors. And we'll continue looking at more cards here in this expansion. Alright, it's time to look through all the hero cards in this expansion. First up, and one of my ones I'm very happy to see in this, because I'm from Canada, of course, so I always had a little special affinity for Alpha Flight, and Northstar and Aurora were 2 of my favorite characters from Alpha Flight, so I'm glad to see them actually make it into this game. Be nice to see other ones like Vindicator and Puck and stuff like that, but probably Sasquatch, but I think right now I'll take Northstar and Aurora. So let's see what we got here. So we got 2 fighting, Soaring Flight. Light Show is draw a card. So we got the Divide card here. Not sure if me zoomed in if that's going to be good there to view or not. But basically, Blazing Flare on the Roar side is 2+. Light Show can get an extra 2 buying. And then on the Northstar side, it's 2 attack with a Berserk. I like the split cards, of course. Twin Blast, so you got Soaring Flight. Light Show, you get +3 fighting, so that can end up going to be a 5. Then, of course, we got Mach 10. So basically, this one here is a 4 buying power and a 0+ fighting. Soaring Flight. All heroes you recruit this turn have Soaring Flight. Light Show, you get +2 fighting for each Light Show card you played this turn. So that is Aurora Northstar. So we'll look at Banshee next. Yes, I like to go by alphabetical order most times. Not always, but usually. So here with Banshee, we've got Sonar Detection. Basically 0, draw a card, you get Piercing Energy, X Gene Covert, you get +1 piercing power. You get Speed of Sound. 2 piercing, Soaring Flight. Where's Banshee and his Scream is going to be more of a different animal to play. Sonic Blast Wave. 3 buying power and 0+ piercing energy. With player range, you may have this card produce piercing instead of buying power. And Bone Shattering Howl. So this one here is 4 piercing, and if you get a range or a covert you play first, you may use fighting as if it were piercing this turn. Alright, so after Banshee, we're going to go with Beast. So Beast, we got Captivating Conundrum. So X-Gene attack, you can draw a card. It's 1 attack. Nice cheap 2 buying. Furry Fury. Try seeing that a million times in a row. Furry Fury. Anyways, Beast Berserk. It's got X Gene Strength, which would be another Berserk. Calculated Rage, 3+ Fighting. Look at the top card of your deck, discard it or put it back, and you got Berserk. Recursive Pummeling Beast, 3+, Berserk, X Gene of an X card. You may return a 0 cost, 3 cost, or 4 cost card from your discard pile to your hand. And next up, we're going to have is Cannonball. So here we got Kinetic Blast Field, Soaring Flight with Instinct. You can get an extra +2. Carry to the Air, Soaring Flight, 2 buying power, strength the next hero you recruit this turn as Soaring Flight. Natural Leader, 3 fighting abilities, Soaring Flight. If you play a strength card first, return a shield hero from discard pile to your hand. And of course, we got Human Cannon, 4+, Soaring Flight. If you played at least 6 other cards this turn, you get an extra +2. And that's Cannonball. So now we'll go with Colossus and Wolverine team up. So, of course, in this first one here, on the Colossus side, you get 2 buying. On the Wolverine side, you get the Unpredictable, which is 1+ with Berserk twice. You just know a Fastball Special is going to be in here. There you go, right there, Fastball Special. 2+, Soaring Flight, X Gene with an Instinct, you get a Berserk. Insane Disregard for Danger. 4+, Berserk. If you have a wound in your hand, discard pile, KO it. Otherwise, gain a wound. And Uncanny X-Men. 3+, Berserk, Berserk, Berserk. Then draw a card for each X card you berserked. So there is Colossus and Wolverine. So we'll go over to Dazzler. Convert sound to light. Dazzler, I got 1 buying and 0+ piercing. Piercing energy, light show. You get +1 piercing for each light show card you played this turn. Dazzling Glamour, 2+ light show. You get an extra +2. Citywide Mega Concert, 3 fighting, light show. When you draw new handed cards at the end of this turn, draw 2 extra cards. Inspire the World, 5 fighting, light show. Put a hero from the HQ on top of your deck. I like that. That's a good light show. Doesn't matter the cost. You get to put it right on top of your deck to draw the next hand. I like that one. Alright, next up, one of my favorite X-Men of all time. I've always been a big fan of Havoc. Blinding Burst. 2 buying, light show. You get +3 fighting, usable only against the Mastermind. Unleash Havoc. 2+, to play this card, you must discard a card from your hand. Berserk, Berserk. Concussive Plasma. 2+, X Gene Range. You get +1 for each range card in your discard pile. Radiation Focus Array, 3+, Berserk, X-Gene range. You get the total printed fighting of all the range cards in your discard pile. Alright, so that is Havoc. Now we're going to go with Jubilee. Nice 2 buying cost cards, I wish I like. Light as Spark, 0+ buying power, draw a card. Light Show, you get +1 buying power for each Light Show card you played this turn. Blasting Fireworks, draw a card. 1 fighting, Light Show, you get +1 fighting for each Light Show card you played this turn. Unexpected Explosion, 3 fighting, Light Show, look at the top card of your deck. If it costs 0, KO it. Prismatic Cascade, 0+ buying power, 5+ attack. Light Show, you get +1 buying power, +1 fighting for each Light Show card you played this turn. Then we're going to get Kitty Pryde, or Shadowcat, as I like to know her as. Another one of my favorite X-Men. Tangible qualities, 0+ buying, 0+ fighting. Put a card from the HQ on the bottom of the hero deck. If the card has a buying icon, you get +2. If the card has a fighting icon, you get +2. If both, you get both. Going through a phase, 1/1, X-Gene X, draw a card. Ghost in the Machine, 0+ fighting. You get +1 fighting for each different cost among the heroes in the HQ. Lockheed Kitty's Dragon, 0+ fighting. Soaring Flight, put a card from the HQ in the bottom of the hero deck. You get + fighting equal to its cost. Now this one I'm a little bit surprised it's kind of a hero card, but maybe there's been a storyline since that I'm not aware of, but this is kind of Legion. Moore is kind of more of a bad guy, but when I was collecting at the time. But things change in the comic world easily. So we got Ben Steel, which is 1+ fighting in a Berserk, or Ben Light, which is 1 buying. Light Show, you get +2 buying. Nice dual card for 2, though. Kind of like that. You got, of course, got another dual card here. Split Personality, which should be 2 fighting, or Split Eardrums versus 2 piercing energy. And another split card. Always good to have options, so I guess Legion's going to be good for that. Channel Time, so you draw 2 cards. Or you can channel Fire, which is 0+ fighting. You get +1 fighting for each different hero class in your discard pile. Maelstrom, Clashing Powers, Legion, Soaring Flight. Reveal the top 3 cards of the hero deck. You get their total printed fighting. Put them on the bottom of the hero deck. And that ends Legion. Now this one I'm kind of surprised too. I never actually thought I would see a Long Shot. I didn't really hear him being very popular at the time when he was in the X-Men comic books, but I actually really liked Long Shot. I thought he was pretty... I liked his luck kind of power. Should kind of see more of Domino nowadays, but... yeah, so... yeah, I'm glad to kind of see him in here. Again, it's another one of those long shot characters you kind of, would like to see, but you actually get to see. 3 fighting. To play this card, you must put a card from your hand on top of your deck. Flurry of Blades. 2+ fighting and berserk, and with if you play Tech 1 first, get another berserk. Make my own luck. 3 fighting. Look at the top card of your deck, discard it or put it back. And if you played a covert one before, you may KO the card you discarded this way. Yeah, Escape from Mojo World. 5+ attack. Reveal the top card of the villain deck. If it's a villain, you may put it on the bottom of that deck. And then if you got an X card first, you get to play. You get +1 fighting equal to the printed victory points of the card you revealed. So again, it's going to be a little bit of a luck component there, which suits the character. All right, so now we got Polaris. Sorry, Phoenix. We got my order mixed up here. Sorry. And we got Phoenix first, then Polaris will be next. Life and Death Incarnate, 3 buying. KO this card, you may KO a card from your hand. KO this card, and you may KO a card from your hand and discard pile. Kind of a weird card. You KO the exact same card you play, so it's a one-time use. Obliterating Fire, Phoenix, Soaring Flight, Piercing Energy, 4 piercing, and then you KO this card too. It's definitely a theme in here. Reincarnating Phoenix, draw 2 cards, and you put a hero that was KO'd this turn into your discard pile. Alright, so that's just the way you get them back into your pile, but you're still going to have to be pretty lucky. You're going to have a small deck size to kind of make that work, or have a lot of those cards first if you want to keep using them. Driven Mad by Power, Phoenix, 6+, Berserk, 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 Berserk. KO all the cards you berserked. If this card makes it to at least 13 fighting, and the Phoenix Force becomes corrupted by power and devours the earth, you win. Evil wins, and all their players lose. Wow. Oh, wow. That's, okay. So you can win with this card. 13 with 4 berserks. I mean, that's quite possible. Devours the earth, you win. Evil wins, and all the players lose. Yeah. Then we get Polaris. Ride the Magnetic Waves. 2 buying power, Soaring Flight. You can play Covert first. When you draw a new hand of cards at the end of this turn, draw an extra card. Electromagnetic Pulse, Polaris, 2 piercing, piercing energy. Play range first, you can draw a card. Subtle Attunement, however you want to pronounce that. Soaring Flight, 2 fighting. If you play Covert first, look at the top 2 cards of your deck. You may KO one of them, put the rest back in the order. Oops. And Reverse Polarity. 4 buying power, Soaring Flight, X Gene X. You can use buying power as fighting this turn and vice versa. And that is Polaris. And then we got Psylocke. I remember when she kind of changed just from being a telepath to this version of her. It was actually, I really like this version of Psylocke. So I'm glad to kind of see her make it into the game. Draw a card, Piercing Energy. If you play an instinct first, you get +1 Piercing Energy. Precognition. 2 buying. Reveal the top card of the hero deck. You may recruit it this turn. If you do, draw a card. Butterfly effect. 2+ piercing, piercing energy, X gene, covert. You can get +1 piercing. Telepathic ninjutsu. 3 piercing energy. Reveal the top card of the hero deck. Then the player of your choice puts it in their hand. And that is Psylocke. Last one. X-23. Adamantium Foot Claws. 2 fighting. X gene. Instinct. Draw a card. Healing Factor Genome. 2+ Berserk. You may KO a wound from your hand and discard pile. Bioengineered Assassin. X-23. 2+ Berserk. X gene. Instinct. You may KO a card from your hand and discard pile. Aaron Wolverine. 3+ Berserk. X gene. Instinct. Count the instinct cards in your discard pile. Berserk that many times. And that is the last hero in this deck. So there you have it. This completes the look at this Legendary X-Men expansion. Definitely a lot of rules in here. Definitely a lot of characters in here I really like, of course. And yeah, this is going to be fun. I definitely like the Masterminds. This is definitely worth a buy for me, being a total X-Men fan. So anyways, so yeah, so please click on the link to subscribe to my channel. There'll also be should be a link in there for a video to watch. And yeah, and I got a Facebook page, and I'm working on my Patreon page. If I do have it up and running, I'll put a link in the description for that. But if not, I might still be working on it. So also working on a logo, and also working on a store too. So lots of things coming for this channel. So yeah, so play properly.